Welcome to the pink side. My girlfriend's sister needed a model. Now I'm her fashion doll. I never thought borrowing a hoodie would change my entire life. It all started on a rainy Wednesday, the kind of day that soaks through your shoes and leaves everything smelling like wet pavement. I had just gotten to my girlfriend Talia's apartment, drenched, annoyed, and hoping for nothing more than to dry off and spend the evening with her. But instead of finding Talia in the kitchen making her famous grilled cheese, it was her older sister, Vanessa, sitting on the couch, legs crossed, makeup flawless, and that ever-present judgmental glint in her eyes. "Oh," she said, raising an eyebrow. "You're early." Talia's stuck at work. I nodded awkwardly. "Yeah, it's pouring outside." She studied me like I was a half-finished painting. "You look like a drowned rat." "Thanks," I muttered, wringing out the sleeves of my hoodie. Vanessa chuckled and stood, walking over with the confident stride of someone who knew exactly how much power she held. She was a stylist, ran some kind of online boutique with hundreds of thousands of followers. Glamorous.
Cool. Terrifying.
"You can't sit on the couch like that," she said, wrinkling her nose. "Go change. You're tracking in puddles." I hesitated, glancing around. Change into what?" Without answering, she disappeared into the hallway and returned with a fluffy white robe and a towel. "Bathroom's that way. Strip, dry off, and come back when you're not leaking all over my carpet." I did as I was told, mostly because arguing with Vanessa never ended well. When I emerged a few minutes later, hair damp but not dripping, she was waiting for me. "Better," she said, eyeing me up and down. "You clean up nicely." I laughed nervously. "Thanks. I think." That's when she tilted her head and asked the question that would start it all. "Actually, I might need your help with something." I should have said no. I should have made an excuse, called an Uber, or claimed I had an allergic reaction to whatever madness she was about to propose. But I didn't. "What kind of help?" I asked. Her grin was slow, calculated. "I need a model." I blinked. "You mean like modeling? For clothes?"
Yes.
"For my new line." Talia was supposed to help me shoot some trial pics today, but clearly she's busy. I frowned. Why would I help with that? Vanessa shrugged, already moving to grab her tablet. "You're here. You're slim. And I need to see how the draping falls on different body types. These are samples. It's not about you looking cute. It's about the fabric." She held up the screen. It showed a sleek, shimmering dress on a faceless mannequin. The kind of thing you'd see at a red carpet afterparty. Definitely not something a guy like me would ever wear. Or even touch. "I don't think that's a good idea." Vanessa didn't respond at first. She just stared at me. And then, with a voice so smooth it almost didn't sound like a challenge, she said, "What are you afraid of? It's not like I'm asking you to wear heels or makeup." That was the moment.
The dare.
I sighed.
Fine.
"Just one outfit." She clapped her hands. "Perfect. Wait here." 10 minutes later, I was standing in her room, wearing a deep blue satin dress. It slid over my body like water, cool and snug. Vanessa had helped me zip it up, because apparently I couldn't do that on my own, and now I was standing in front of a floor-length mirror, trying not to panic. "It fits better than I expected," she murmured, walking around me like a sculptor admiring her latest work. I couldn't look at myself. My face was still mine, wet hair, nervous expression, but my body, the dress shaped me, pulled me, gave curves where I'd never had any. I shifted awkwardly. "This is so weird." Vanessa ignored me. She reached into a drawer and pulled out a pair of clip-on earrings. "Hold still."
What?
No, Vanessa, I said one outfit." "And this is still one outfit," she said smoothly, clipping the earrings onto my lobes. "Accessories are part of the look." I opened my mouth to argue, but stopped when I saw my reflection again. I looked different. Softer. The robe had hidden everything, but the dress didn't. My shoulders seemed narrower, my waist more defined. My legs, pale and hairless from a recent dare gone wrong, didn't help matters. I suddenly felt exposed in a way I hadn't expected. "Okay, I did it," I muttered. "Can I change now?" But Vanessa was already lifting a camera. Hold still.
Just a few shots.
You'll be out of it in 5 minutes, promise. She didn't promise. And 5 minutes turned into 15. Then 20. Then a second outfit. And by the time Talia finally walked through the door, gasping, laughing, and covering her mouth in delighted shock, I knew something had changed. Because the moment she said, "Oh my God, you actually make a gorgeous girl," Vanessa didn't look surprised. She looked victorious. The next morning, I tried to act normal, pretending the skirt incident never happened. I stayed in my room as long as I could, but eventually I had to face her. When I stepped out, she was waiting with a smirk, holding a cup of coffee. "Sleep well, sweetie." I froze. That tone, it was playful, but there was something sharp behind it. I'm sorry about last night," I stammered. "It won't happen again." "Oh, I know it won't," she said, crossing her arms. "Because you're going to do exactly what I say from now on." "What?" She didn't raise her voice. Instead, she walked over, leaned in, and whispered, "You think I didn't notice the way you looked at yourself in that mirror? Or how natural you looked in that skirt?" My mouth went dry. "I've been watching you," she continued. "The way you stare at my shoes, the way you flinch when you hear heels, and that night, when you thought you were alone, you weren't just trying it on. You were living it." I tried to deny it. It was a joke. I didn't mean. "Stop lying, baby," she said softly but firmly. "This place, this apartment, it's mine. The rules are mine. And from now on, if you want to stay here, you live by my rules." What do you mean?" She smiled and pulled something out from behind the couch, a shopping bag.
"Try these on," she said. "Now."
I looked inside. Pantyhose. A pleated pink skirt. A soft peach blouse. And underneath them, a lacy bra and matching panties. "I'm not doing that," I said, backing away. "Oh, then pack your things. You've got 15 minutes. My chest tightened. I couldn't go back home. I didn't have anywhere else to go. "You said you needed help with rent," she added casually. "I think we can work something out. But it starts with you putting those clothes on." I hesitated. "I won't tell anyone," she said, almost kindly now. "And I promise, I'll make you look beautiful." I stared at the bag. The fabric looked soft. The colors were warm. I hated that part of me wanted to feel them on my skin again. Shaking, I took the bag and walked to my room. And I shut the door. This time, I didn't resist. I stepped out 10 minutes later, fully dressed, cheeks flushed, eyes lowered. She looked me over slowly, then nodded with approval. "See," she whispered. "Told you. You make the perfect roommate." I took a deep breath and stepped into the living room. The heels clicked beneath me, the hem of the soft dress brushing against my thighs. My heart pounded. This wasn't a prank anymore, it was my reality now. Mrs. Khan looked up from her book, her eyes scanning me from head to toe. "Much better," she said calmly. "Now you look like someone who belongs here." I stood frozen, unsure of what to say. "I only did this because you asked me to," she smiled, standing up and walking toward me. "And you did it beautifully." She circled me slowly, like she was appraising her work. "You're graceful. You move like a girl who knows her place." That made my stomach twist. "This is just temporary, right?" She gave me a playful smirk. "We'll see." The next few days passed in a blur. Every morning, she'd leave an outfit on my bed. Sometimes skirts, sometimes dresses, once even a pair of tight jeans and a crop top. She never told me to wear them out loud. But if I came down in anything else, she'd raise an eyebrow, and I'd rush back upstairs to change. I didn't know why I kept going along with it. Maybe I was afraid she'd kick me out. Maybe I was just curious. Curious how far this would go. Curious about how it felt when I looked in the mirror and saw someone softer, prettier, not entirely me, but not entirely not me, either. Then one evening, she invited some guests over. That was the night everything changed. Mrs. Khan gave me very specific instructions that evening. "You'll greet them at the door, serve drinks, and be polite," she said, smoothing out my hair with practiced fingers. "And tonight you'll go by the name Nadia." "Nadia?" I asked, startled. "It suits you."
"Soft."
"Elegant." She tilted her head, assessing me. Don't embarrass me.
The doorbell rang.
I nearly bolted, but her hand landed gently on my back, pushing me toward the hallway. Smile, she whispered. Remember, you're my perfect little roommate. I opened the door. Two women stepped inside, both stylish, confident, and carrying the kind of energy that immediately made me self-conscious. They greeted Mrs. Khan with hugs and laughter, then turned their attention to me. And who's this beauty? One of them asked. This is Nadia, Mrs. Khan answered smoothly. She's staying with me for a while. The lie rolled off her tongue like silk, and no one questioned it. I smiled weakly, murmured greetings, and hurried to the kitchen to fetch drinks. My heart was pounding. They thought I was a girl. No, they believed I was a girl. And the scariest part? I didn't correct them. I served the drinks with shaking hands. Every time they complimented my nails, my hair, my dress, I felt a rush of something I couldn't name. Shame? Excitement? Power? And then I heard one of them whisper, just loud enough for me to catch. She's adorable. So well-mannered. Mrs. Khan's done wonders with her. I flushed. My chest tightened. I wasn't just playing dress-up anymore. I was becoming her. I stared at myself in the full-length mirror, heart pounding as my reflection smiled back. The outfit Delilah had chosen for me, tight white jeans, a pale pink blouse, and wedge sandals, should have felt foreign. But somehow, I didn't look like a guy playing dress-up anymore. I looked like a girl. A pretty, confident, effortlessly feminine girl. Delilah stood behind me, arms crossed with a proud grin. You're not even trying to look like a boy anymore, she whispered. And she was right. That night, her friends came over for a sleepover. I thought it'd just be a movie night. I didn't know it would be a full-on transformation celebration. They squealed when they saw me. OMG, is this your cousin? She's so cute. I love your hair. And that outfit, yes girl. Delilah winked at me. Told you they'd love you. I blushed, cheeks burning, but part of me loved the attention. These weren't mocking glances or cruel jokes. These were real compliments from real girls who thought I was one of them. And, honestly, that scared me more than anything. We played truth or dare, painted nails, shared secrets, and every time I spoke, laughed, or just existed among them, I could feel myself slipping further into the persona Delilah had created. Only was it still a persona?